What is up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, and we're back for another episode of the Southside Boys. I almost said White Sox podcast, but I'm just so excited to talk some White Sox baseball, guys. You guys know how much of a White Sox fan I am, and the last few years have not been very exciting. But since August 31st, the White Sox are 9-2, the best team in the MLB. Things are getting brighter. They've won 3 series in a row. A lot of good things are happening. We still got about 18 games, 17 games left of the season. They're 6 away from making sure not to hit another 100-loss season. There's a lot to talk about and a lot of good things to finally talk about. So let's have a positive episode. Let's get the guys in here. Let's talk some White Sox baseball. Deech, how you doing? And Justin, how we doing, guys? And
What's up, fellas?
welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Justin, I'll start with you. How are you feeling the last couple of weeks being able to watch the team? And, it seems like, we've talked about it a lot this year that they've had decent stretches, but I don't know, these last 11 games and I think 8 out of 9 of the wins have all been comebacks too, which we've not seen a lot of in the last 4 years.
Yeah, I wish I'd gotten to watch more the past couple weeks. Just been busy and just
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, no, I feel like the Deep, I think even last week before it even got to be as before they even won these last 3 series in a row, honestly, probably I was like, maybe they're just playing better because I'm not watching. But obviously following, I know what's been going on and have popped in here and there. So it's nice. It's fun to be excited about them, I suppose. I don't have too much insight into what's been going on in the day-to-day, but I know that Teal's been on base 20 games in a row, that Colson's still hitting, and it's exciting when you have rookies like that. I remain a very big fan of Chase Meidroth. I love that he's now getting more time at second base. I think that's where he belongs. You're playing guys in their natural positions, and I think what's most encouraging is I know Vargas is out, or is back now, I should say. Robert's still out. I thought a couple weeks ago when they kind of both went out very close to each other that it could have very easily turned into kind of throwing in the towel, rolling over, and calling it a season. That's 2 bats that had been swinging, that had been playing very well at the time Robert had finally started hitting when he went down. And so I think that's the most encouraging thing for me is, and now obviously Vargas is back, but losing them and that this core has just kind of responded in a way that is, hey, we're still going to go out and compete and win games. There's a good energy about the team.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing too. And that's a good point too. Where like Robert hasn't been there, and like the fact that other guys are stepping up, and there's been a couple lineups in the past 2 weeks where the 3, 4, 5 hitters have all been rookies, and most of these games as of late, the rookies have been the ones that all have been contributing and scoring runs and getting on base. And that play that Meidroth made today was,
I saw that.
Or Will Anderson, we got to give props to him last Sunday. I was watching football, but I still was able to see that highlight. I mean, that might very well be one of the catches of the years, depending on, I don't really know. For a while there, I kept up with the plays of the year, but yeah.
Robertson?
Was it Robinson? Yeah, Robinson, my bad.
Robertson.
My bad. Well, yeah,
that was cool because that guy, everyone just rips on. He's like the new Jacob Maya or whatever, whoever everyone just like dislikes him. And it's like, I don't think they're telling us he's a core piece, but we need an outfielder.
White Sox fans have an obsession with hating the 26th man on the roster. I've done the impression on here before, but it's like, get whoever off my favorite baseball team. Like, shut up.
He said perfectly too.
And then he got my favorite fan base.
You're absolutely right.
He made that ridiculous catch, and then I think he got an RBI single, and I was just like, good for him. I mean, it probably has to suck. I would not necessarily want to go on social media if I was in his position, and just see people rip on me constantly when, I mean, he probably knows I am a fringe guy. That's pretty much like going to be it here. So,
yeah. I saw a bunch of them were at the Bears game together the other night. That's great. That's just the good camaraderie. And they did a Sky game earlier this year too, I know. So it's good to see that they actually like each other, spend time together outside of the ballpark. They're normal guys. It's a very welcome change of pace.
There was one of the guys there. I couldn't figure out who the heck it was, and I had to look it up. I was just trying to figure it out. It's so I don't know. I didn't know who the.
It was probably Curtis Mead.
I probably. I mean, hey, and he's even been
I saw
doing.
multiple people ask who he, because normal you don't realize. I mean, he either shaves his head or is like fully bald, and I
I
don't
think
know what he was wearing that day, but he does look different when he's not in a baseball uniform, I
yeah.
guess.
I mean that is very true. You can't tell who they are unless they got their jerseys on. I mean, at least some of them, I feel like. But I mean, yeah. And last week when we were talking Deets, this was before they finished that game against the Twins, and they went on and they won it. The first time ever in franchise history, they swept the Twins at Twins Park, which are Target Field, or what was the one called before it? That they have done that, and I don't know about you guys. I don't care where it's at in the season. Just being able to do that, and I don't care how bad the Twins have been since they traded everybody. It was nice to see them just go out there and do that, and then especially winning 2 out of 3 against the best baseball team, I guess. And well, are they
Was
still the
that
best in the American?
statistic? Was that statistic for 3 game series or was it only
No, it
4?
was their first 4 game sweep
Yeah,
of the 20.
4 game series, first 4 game.
Okay, because I was about to be like, if we have never swept them in a
No, it
3 game
was a four. It
series,
was a
like
4 game series.
Yeah, no, I
okay,
was gonna say I know there's a few times that we've done it but because when Chuck said it after the game, I was shocked. I was like, oh wow, because I was like, damn, that's just how bad it's been, and but yeah. I mean, like I said, them going to face the Tigers and winning 2 out of 3 was nice because we all seen how we've played against the Tigers, and that's the thing we've talked about a lot. Like if they could just play good against the division, I mean, there's a lot of things that could go and turn around in a way. And it was just the only person that they've lost to as of lately is Tarek Skubal, and he's gonna win the Cy Young. So it's not too much to be, yeah. How did you feel though, Deech, about the Tiger series and everything? And were you surprised that they won 2 out of 3? But I think you did say they would win 2 out of 3 last week.
yes. So kind of just getting things rolling. I did predict. I think I said 2 out of 3 against Detroit, and then 2 out of 3 against Tampa. So
You've
it was
never
nice.
taken to lose a series in the history of this show.
I don't think he. I don't think
There
he
was
has.
one series I think this year,
There was
but it was against like a
one series,
powerhouse.
Justin.
And I was just like, there's no way they're winning more than a game here. The Cubs definitely made me nervous, but
Oh my
I
god.
still think I was trying to be optimistic. But
Hey, you know what though? Because
that's a fair accusation, Justin.
No,
That's
I was
fair.
just giving you a hard time.
you keep saying it though, eventually it's going to happen, and that's what's been happening. We won 3 in a row, so keep saying.
You got to
That's-
speak it into existence.
Exactly.
So obviously they played pretty damn good baseball. Especially, like Justin pointed out, that was without Vargas and Robert a majority of it. I think Vargas has played 2 of the games against Tampa.
Yeah.
But even Curtis Mead, who I mentioned earlier, not that he's hitting for power, but he seems to have just slid right in and is productive. It's definitely
nice.
promising. Because Hauser, obviously, we weren't going to keep, so you might as well get something. At least they're starting to have a track record of assessing talent and actually acquiring guys that they are able to work with to turn into something that they're able to use. So, next point is they need 6 more wins not to lose 100. I'm a big pusher of
That's
this
including
only
today, right?
because
Is that including today's win, right? So we need
yes,
6 more, right? Yeah. Okay. I
yes,
just want.
6 more wins to not lose 100. I personally am pushing this hard just because with how poorly if you look at a 3-year span, it's a huge improvement compared to last year. Not that the bar was set very high, but it's a trend in the right direction. And 3 digits looks worse than 2 in the loss column. If you look at like a yearly basis, it'd just be nice to be like, okay, we're done with this. Do
Yeah,
you
I'm with
think it's a guarantee that they're
I
going to?
nothing is guaranteed, but I share your sentiment in the importance, or not even importance, just significance of not losing 100, even if it's the most pathetic thing you could ever possibly like celebrate or parade. But I know what you mean when you look at that column at the end of the year, and like 100 lost seasons aren't supposed to be regular occurrences for any franchise, let alone for a franchise in a major market to have won 3 years in a row. So I do think there is some significance to not losing 100, but I'll double back on nothing is guaranteed. But if just win a couple more series and then just pick up another couple wins elsewhere and bang.
Yeah, and that's I mean, you're absolutely right on that. Where nothing is guaranteed in life. That's just what I've realized because I mean, we could say whatever we want, but I mean, and now they have to go and play Cleveland, and we all know how much fun that is, and that's going to be a big test for them because if they can go in there and continue what they've been doing, and the fact that they've also scored 5+ runs average since the All-Star break, which is top 5. They are now after today's game 25-25 since the All-Star break. I mean, they're a completely different team that even like looking on the face of some of the Twins and Tigers players last week, I feel like they were all shocked. They were like, who the hell are these guys? And I mean, so it's like, I think it's possible, but they just need to keep doing what they're doing and don't push off the gas pedal because that's, I mean, and they've talked about it a lot. The Sox are that team that's just spoiling everybody at this point because like the Rays, they needed these wins really bad, and now they're probably going to fall out. Or like the Guardians.
Oh, the Royals are the ones who we really took out. They're still. Well, actually, I haven't looked at the standings in a few days now, but they were still just a few games back. And it's like, damn,
well, that's what I was about to get to.
The White Sox.
The Royals have to jump through 4 teams, and the Guardians have to jump 3. I think they said today.
Okay, so the Royals probably fallen off a little bit since I last.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, where like this weekend is big for the Guardians. So like if I'm just like them, go into it as like this is a playoff series, and you're going out to make sure the Guardians don't make it, and that's a big thing, especially because like we've talked about it a lot. Like they've been the laughing stock and everything, and after whatever the hell where they were talking about the White Sox suck in the locker room and all that shit. I mean, and what I think that it's possible, but this Cleveland series I think is very important this weekend because we all just know how they play against Cleveland. Even if they just get one, I think that will
real quick on the them talking shit in the locker room. Karma did its job there. Class A will never fucking pitch again in Major League Baseball.
I still can't get over that. I can't. These athletes that do the stupid shit, it just doesn't make sense. Just like Rashid Rice. I know this ain't a football show, but that idiot too. I'm sorry. I just go ahead.
The next thing, I know we briefly touched on him already, but Colson Montgomery has 49 RBIs and 202 at bats. I mean, that's a pretty good pace to be at. I think his average
said he'd be on pace 168 RBIs this year if he played a full season. That's like obviously wouldn't happen, but that's insane.
So with him obviously having as much success power-wise, he has 18 home runs now, 49 RBIs. His average is a little low, but you would think they'll work with him on that. Has he alone kind of sped up what could potentially be a contention window, in your opinions?
Oh yeah, I mean alone. It's never alone, obviously.
Yeah,
but like yes, in terms of how different it has felt since he got called up in July. It was right at the beginning of July, right? His first game was on July 4th, I believe. I mean, it's been a different feel around the team. Sometimes just having that spark plug. But again, I'm sure we'll talk about this more, if not today, in the last few episodes here as the season winds down. It's up to them when they really want to open the contention window. Then that starts opening the checkbooks. But when you know that you have a legitimate foundational piece and a guy that should be a star in the league, that should urge you to go try to win around him. Now, whether or not they do that correctly is, it's kind of like I view like Kansas City didn't punt at the deadline. They doubled down. They signed Seth Lugo because they have Bobby Witt Jr. locked up. They know that they have a generational talent at shortstop, and so it should be important for them to try to win while they have him in town. So yes, there is that mindset. I think definitely exists. So it's not single-handedly, but he'd be the number one reason to go try to win in the next couple of years because of what you've seen him bring to the table, and that you can have that bat in the middle of your lineup.
I just think it's crazy to even look back at. I mean, before he came up, that's I guess where I'm saying like him alone. It almost felt like they had plateaued, where you would have some good games, but there were certain. I mean, your bottom three were generally pretty shit hitters.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
So I mean, just like it felt like that took it to the next level, just because he was really separate. I feel like from the rest of them being called up, where they had all been playing together for like a month or two. Because
right.
there's such a core now. I mean, you've mentioned Mydrith, Vargas, even Mead is in the even Lennon Sosa. I mean, to even talk about him, who we all were kind of like, I mean, you got to prove it this year, but I don't think any of us expected this.
No, definitely
there's
not
enough pieces to either move guys if you want to try and fill something you don't have, or you can build off of. A lot of them are versatile fielders, which is nice. Obviously, the outfield is a little scarce, but you can rotate these guys in the infield and feel pretty confident. Vargas plays first and third, competent enough where you're like, it isn't unbearable by any means. Mead can play third and first. Mydrith can slide over to short, but I'm very, like you pointed out, Mydrith at second, Colson at short, like those two for sure.
Yes.
Like just lock them in here, at least for now.
I think we talked about this a couple weeks back, maybe a little bit longer now. But you said like you can move pieces to complement the team elsewhere, and how I think that could be a major differentiator in this team getting to where the previous core couldn't, is because we hugged and held on to everybody, and we were so hell-bent on making it work with that exact group. And it doesn't always work out that way, man. Sometimes you have to shake things up, even if the move isn't popular. And I don't know what that move would be. This is just all hypothetical, but like, yeah, you have to be willing to make the big move, and fill out the roster properly. But I think the specifically up the middle with Mydrith and Montgomery is got to be completely set in stone. Those are your guys. That's your double play combo for the next however long, until they decide they can't afford to pay Colson Montgomery.
You're not. I mean, I guess it's something to think about, because you're absolutely right. I mean, man,
the payment stuff.
Yeah, I just don't want to think about that yet.
No, enjoy it now.
But it is something, because if they continue, they're going to be big bucks, and we all know how much it costs to have these baseball players on their teams, as you said, with Bobby Witt Jr. And that's the thing, like with all these players, though, and I've said it with all the sports and everything, all these teams always pay all these guys big money, and then they end up sucking because they can't pay anybody else, and they can't build the team. And it's like, I don't know. Hopefully this generation doesn't care about the money as much as others, but we'll see. I feel like it's worse. But yeah.
So over their last 10 games, they're 8-2. And then since the All-Star break, they're playing 500 ball. Is half a season of the offense enough to convince A, yourself that they should take the next step, and B, the front office that they need to start spending, or like dig their heels in completely? Like, is this it? Or I just don't. There's some arguments, and there's all sorts of people in the fan base. Some have different opinions that like all of these guys they just drafted are actually the next core, with like Caleb Bowman, all these prospects in the minors. I do not have that viewpoint, but I'm to the point where I think it's like, all right, dig your heels in. You know what you have. And even if it's like I mentioned, if you move a core piece or a piece that's like starting to blend in with your core, to acquire something else, I mean, who knows if Curtis Mead had a good enough season, some team may be trying to unload a contract that they don't want on their payroll, but it could be, and I'm just throwing this out here as an example, like Nick Castellanos, maybe because I saw some report that the Phillies will be open to like moving him. You're not going to have
money
to give
for Schwarber too. So yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to think that they very well could move someone. I don't think it's going to be a pitcher. The pitching now seems that's what's interesting too. This all has flipped. The pitching seemed like it was like, all right, we're set for like, and now I can really only say confidently Shane Smith is the only one that's like has a deserved spot in the rotation. Martin Perez, I think, has a. I think
As long as he comes
I think
back
it's
next year.
both a team and club option. Like it's a mutual option. I wouldn't necessarily mind him if they think he's healthy and going to stay healthy for the season. Veteran presence, you're going to probably have to add 2 veterans anyways. So
Need a lefty in there too. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
What about Davis Martin? You think he's still here? He's still part of it next year? Because he's had his ups and his downs, and
I legitimately think you can pencil Shane in 1 through 3, like one of those spots, 1 through
oh, I
3.
thought you were gonna say what? Shane's gonna pitch 3 games in a row.
No. I'm saying he depending on who you're going to go sign, he's
Yeah.
penciled in like one of those
Yeah.
slots, obviously. But you need 2 veterans, whether it includes Perez or doesn't, regardless, 2 veterans. And then I would just let whoever the hell is ready to be called up or whatever, you all can duke it out in spring training and just know if you like really struggle, you're likely losing your spot pretty quickly into the season. Like this isn't a like development year where we need to like fuck around with all these pitchers. I mean, it should be like let's lock in here. But do you think this pushes the front office to start at least spending some money?
No, and that's just because it's not the front office that needs the pushing. Like I know that Chris Getz and Barfield and whoever the hell else, I know that they want to put a winning team out there. And I know that they know that that takes money. But I know that it's already been reported before the season even started that they're cutting payroll next season. And so it just starts at the top, man. And the reality is Jerry knows that he can sell with what they've shown in the second half. It's going to actually be reverse. What they've shown down the stretch here, he knows he can sell that bunch, that this group of guys going into next season because they've played so much better down the stretch. And he's not going to feel like he needs to go out and sign. You know, we talk about the rotation. All of these guys are going to be in it again next year. If not, it's going to be like an Ivan Nova type signing. They don't sign premier starting pitching. They never have. They under the current ownership never will. I think all the things you're saying are right in theory, and about how there's no developmental year for these guys again. Like we don't need to see Burke, Cannon, Martin, all those guys get full years with. Well, I mean, I guess Cannon got sent down, but like unlimited leashes in the way of, we'll see what we have in them. But we might get that again. And I just think that's just the reality of who owns the team. I get, you don't want to blow your load this offseason if you're them either and get yourself wound up with a bunch of big fucking contracts that don't end up panning out and just because you feel like you have to. But I'd expect this team to look next year roster-wise very similar to what it is this year. If not damn near a carbon copy. I'm sure they'll spend on proven bullpen arms with, but we aren't talking big contracts with that. You're just talking, hey, we need people who can actually get guys out. And I think that the bullpen will be improved, which will allow for more wins for sure. But that's about all I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean,
Tino?
I I agree with what Justin said. I mean, that's the thing too. It's kind of like I want to see. I want to until I see it. That's when I'll believe it because it's just like they haven't done it yet. So why are they going to do it? And he's absolutely right. As Jerry sees the end of this play, as they played the end of the last month and everything, he's gonna be like, "Oh, guys, come on! Like you've already renewed your season tickets. He got you for next year, right? You know what I mean? So it's just like that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's got it, and it just But that's what would get people to sit in seats, and that's what if they went out and do it, that the place would be packed almost all the time. And everything, and that's just what they need to do, but they don't do it. And if you add somebody like a Kyle Schwarber or somebody to that lineup that can like clear the bases for the most part about at least 50% of the time, I think we'll be golden because there's been a lot of games that we've scored a lot of runs, but there's also those games that we can't score with runners in scoring position. If we had that big bat in the middle, I think that would be huge. And so I want them to do it, but I don't think they will until and like Justin said, it's exactly what it is.
I would love a Schwarber or a Suarez. Don't operate that way. That's not.
Has Suarez done anything since he went to Seattle? I feel like he's got.
They have been struggling. They have been struggling as a whole. So no, I don't think he's been the same. That's a tougher park to hit in, though. I mean, from hitting indoors in Arizona to, well, I guess it's indoors there too. But I imagine that it's a lot more, not as frequently that you're playing inside, and the ball just kind of dies there at night. So I don't know what his splits are or whatever, but.
Well, I guess I'm going to be a little loony here. I think they're going to spend some money. I would even consider. I know you like Talkman, Justin, and I am fine with Talkman being on the bench next year, but I cannot see rolling him out as your starting right fielder.
No,
I just think his knees are giving his legs are just, you can tell he's aged a little bit.
All year he's run. He just looks painful to watch him run. So I'm with you.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously explore the market if they get the go ahead, because I was also thinking about this as well. If Ishbia intends to take over, like in this, it's going to be somewhat soon. I mean, it's not like it's that far away. And they keep talking about these cash infusions, which obviously everyone's assuming is fully for the stadium, that they're trying to decide where they're going to build a new stadium or whatever. Knowing that there's probably going to be a lockout and that the union contract ends, which will impact the amount of money you're going to have to pay players afterwards, it almost makes sense that you would. And I'm not saying like they're going to go sign a superstar, but you need to start with this like multi-year deal, because even if they don't play that year, they don't pay them. So, I mean, there's really not a loss other than you're going to have to pay more moving forward, because the players are going to sit there and just bitch that they're not being paid enough. The guys at the lower end, the middle tier guys. I mean, there are guys that are getting screwed compared to like previously how players were paid. I mean, Anthony Rizzo retired. He announced his retirement. What was that, yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yesterday.
Mr. Anthony.
That was crazy to me. It felt like the Cubs didn't win that long ago. And you felt like, but I guess maybe, how old is he? Like in his mid-30s, maybe?
Yeah, and he had the problems with like the concussions and stuff in New York. But he's older. It feels how it feels. It's been 9 years.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I think teams also, or people seem to also forget he was on the Padres and the Red Sox too. Like that's where like he started his career. So he's been in the league a little bit longer, but I'm sure the injuries had to do with it. And he said on that interview, I don't know if it was the one with Johnny Manziel or the other one that he did, is that they wanted to win and they tried, but they obviously just like couldn't, and they just like when that trade deadline went on, that was when it was. But he also said he found his love for baseball again in New York, which I was kind of shocked that, he said that. But I guess if you're playing in New York, I guess
here,
got a lot.
Before I move on to my next point, because you did make the season ticket comment, yes, I did renew, but I did want to point out they did add this, not that it'll convince everyone to go buy ticket plans, but they are trying. They actually, next year, your CHSN subscription will be included with your ticket package. So you get MLB TV for free. I think it's if you have like a 20 game plan or higher or more games than that. But you get your MLB TV subscription and now CHSN, which I always thought was the right thing to do. I believe the Hawks did that for their season ticket holders this past year. So it's nice to know that they're not just being like ridiculous about every little like penny pinching thing that they could be.
Yeah, you would hope so, because you're absolutely right, and that's a good thing too. Because I don't know if you saw, but they just put WWE on ESPN now, and they're at it. There, you have to now pay an extra $30 charge for like ESPN Plus just to watch the pay per views. So it's like the fact that they're doing that, like it's helpful to you guys because you're already spending a lot of money as it is. Why do you have to spend 15 whatever the hell dollars it is extra a month to watch the games when you're already going to 20 plus games? So I think that's definitely good, and it's a good step in the right direction to make the fans feel like you actually care. Because again,
Yeah, I mean, $20 a month for CHS, and if you don't get the Bulls or Blackhawks, if you just get the White Sox. So I don't even know. I assume I'll get charged in the off season too, which is just
stupid.
maybe I won't, because I can just cancel. I don't know.
I think you can just cancel it, but you have to like proactively do it, or they will charge. I don't know
yeah.
how.
Of
But
course, yeah, the automatic charge because that's what they did to me for the Sunday ticket this year.
Fucking
All of a sudden, they were like, "Oh, just so you know, we renewed your Sunday ticket, but it's gonna be this extra a month, and there's 4 payments." And I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "How do we go from this to that?" Assholes. Like, what the hell? Come on, you know. Oh yeah, gotta love it.
the next thing I was going to bring up was Benintendi. I still see people bitching about him. He's probably going to hit his record amount of home runs in a season this year. I think he's at what, 19 now?
Yeah.
I believe his
Yeah.
like high is 20. I mean, I just don't know. Like Justin, you are the main person where I get this from. He didn't decide, like he didn't ask to be the highest paid player on the White Sox. I mean, they chose to do that. So
I mean, who's saying no to that much money? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say no. I'm like, let's go play
Well,
left
yeah, it's
field.
not even saying no to the money. It's just the fact that, like, yeah, I mean, it's pathetic that he has the biggest contract in team history, that it went to him in any capacity. But it's much like the fixation on the 26th man on the roster. It's a lot of misplaced anger, which I get it, man. I mean, he's got a terrible arm in the outfield. The average hasn't been good in the entirety of the time he's been here, but like, he shows up. He's fucking there, man. I with you. The hate for him seems a little bit misplaced at times.
now, do you think he's playing well enough to actually trade him where Getz will feel he's getting enough back to move him, or no?
Not unless they're ready to eat money there. And if they're eating money there, I don't think that they're doing enough elsewhere to improve the team. So I don't know if that's necessarily even an option. Now, I would love to see him not be the opening day left fielder. But I don't really see a path to that. That's a lot of money for a team to eat. He's not, what is he still owed $30 million more dollars? And
I
the stats
believe
put
so.
up the last few years probably don't warrant that to a lot of teams. He doesn't add much defensive value, like I said. So I think we're probably just stuck with him. And if they get really serious and actually add guys, maybe he'll be a bench player come 27, if there's even a season.
Yeah.
You keep talking about that, and we're obviously gonna have to talk about it as it's closer. But you're right. I mean, people can't forget about that. There very well could be like not a season that year. You said it's 27, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's coming before you know it. I mean, shoot, like football's already started. It's just here we go.
I just can't see the justification though of I'm gonna literally be cheap as shit going into, because if the Sox don't spend any money whatsoever and keep payroll at like about what it is this year, the fucking players union is going to be like, what the hell? I mean, it's almost like you'll be spending less if you're looking more long term. I'm not saying a 1 year deal, but if you're going like 3 or 4 years or whatever, like you feel there's a guy that fits what you're trying to do here. If you sign him now, it's going to be probably less like average per season that you're going to pay him. And on top of that, then you don't have everyone down your grill when these negotiations start going on saying that you flat out have just tanked for years on end with zero payroll compared to zero in the sense of like you're definitely bottom fourth, bottom third.
Yeah, but they're not going to be alone in that. That's the problem. Is like you can say that about a lot of teams. It's not a White Sox uniquely issue. And when you say like justifying, they don't answer to any. Jerry doesn't have to answer to anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
the offseason will hit. They won't spend money. It'll still be it'll be January, and people will be bitching about how bad Ben Johnson's first year was and how they're 2 years in and Caleb didn't take any strides. And then that'll end and you'll get to spring training. And then they're buried below the Cubs in the city. So that plays into it that's why they get away with some of this to a degree of, not having to answer to and justify why they decide that they don't want to do what it takes to compete.
Yeah.
But again, much like the talking about the money earlier, like the logic tracks.
Yeah. I guess I am starting to think that Chris Getz may have a little bit more. I think he has Jerry's ear a little bit more than Rick Hahn was even given the ear, because Kenny Williams was involved with Rick Hahn, and Rick Hahn, you could tell there was a point where the organization lost trust in him, and then it was like, you are fucking handcuffed. We're not letting you spend another dime.
Yeah, you're right.
So, and Chris Getz had to have been in Jerry. Why would Chris Getz, out of anyone, I almost feel like, and this is just speculation, Chris Getz had to have gone to Jerry like at some point during Rick Hahn's tenure, and laid out some information showing that what is going on right now is not okay. This needs to be addressed before you can even think about contending again, and convinced him that he was the man for the job. Whether that was before or after Hahn was fired, I don't know, but he must at least have something that has intrigued Jerry to let him start ripping the team apart and doing what he's been doing.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
Right. There has been an organizational change in philosophy on a lot of different levels. The one that we have yet to see is the spending of money, but everything else that's happening would track with a complete change in how they've done business. So it's a good point.
And that I'll skip my 1 point and move on to Josh Barfield. I don't know if either of you saw the article that got released today. Essentially, the Orioles were trying to poach him to possibly take over as a GM position in Baltimore, and he declined it and said that he wants to ride this out with the White Sox.
That just proves that he knows that there's something going on and that he wants to be a part of. And
he's inheriting a mess of a situation to fix in Baltimore.
He's
a couple more years and they win. And
who would have thought we'd be saying that 2 years ago after they called it up Rutschman? They were the hottest team in baseball, and that's kind of the thing too. That's kind of giving me I don't want to get too excited, because we saw what Baltimore was doing. Baltimore was that team and everybody and blah blah blah, and it just
they never spent money and they never had pitching.
And they should have traded for pitching. They should have traded for Garrett Crochet or
prospect.
Freaking the dude from the Phillies got. I forgot.
No, they prospect hug. They did the same thing that Rick Hahn did. That's all. That's that there.
So he would be walking into, you're going to have to that's try and trade Adley Rutschman and sell the fan base that this was the correct move or whatever this offseason.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point. That is because they have this other catching prospect now. That is the next guy in line there. You get the guy who traded
which is going to piss the fan base off. That was when we started unloading our guys. It was pretty fucking annoying at first, because you're just all right, I guess we're just going to be shit now.
Oh my God.
Their case, they can fix it because you can catch it right now, make a couple moves that make sense. But ours was just where it was you have to essentially tear everything down. But I did tweet out about Kyle Teal's pinch hit RBI
Best
single
catcher in
earlier.
baseball since the All-Star break.
And Red Sox fan actually replied and said that they're sad to kind of not have Kyle Teal in Boston. They know they got crocheted. It was a nice exchange between fan bases of like, we both kind of gained traction with that trade.
Yeah,
Like no team lost. So
well, and the thing, I mean, and that's the thing too. I mean, the fact, I mean, when we traded, I think Teal was like, wasn't he like the main piece of it, or was it Montgomery? Because we got Montgomery, Teal, Chase, and then we got Wilkerman, right?
Yeah,
and he hasn't been too
Gonzalez.
he hasn't been too bad in the bullpen. You know, I was thinking, and Grant Taylor got hurt yesterday and everything, and you know, we obviously Jordan Leisure being the closer and having nine stretch game of no whatever the hell he's doing still stresses me out. But I mean, you know, and that's the thing too. I mean, the Red Sox are trying to do what they do, and I just feel like, you know, the one thing I do will say is, why do we keep trading with the Red Sox? Every single time we trade, it's always with these damn Red Sox. Like, you know. Anyway.
I honestly feel like because Chris Getz is a new GM, that it's easier to build trust with a few people. So those conversations are probably a little bit more realistic, and they're more open to having a legitimate discussion. Whereas some GMs may just try and railroad him, where it's like, I'm not going to let you just bend me over for the guy I'm offering, like that's on the trade table. So
the Red Sox always have good prospects. We always have good players they're trying to get rid of. It's a match made in heaven.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, similar with the Cubs too.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I want to see them.
So, yeah, I mean, you touched on Grant Taylor getting hurt. I don't see how anyone can be sitting here arguing, saying stretch him out into a starter like in spring training next year or next season even. Do both of you agree with me on that? Or
he can't throw strikes. He comes in and it's just you just don't know what the hell you're gonna get. You can't start a baseball game that way.
No.
Yeah.
And we've seen that a lot with these guys where like they get in trouble early and they've gotten out of it sometimes. Like the Burke and the Cannons of the world, like they just like even in AAA, seeing the numbers for Cannon have been awful. Like he's just not getting better, and it's sad because I was hoping that he'd be something, and you know, he had a couple flashes and a couple good games, but you can't just come up here and talk people.
I think Burke had almost an 80 ERA in 3 starts in Charlotte, and then they called him back up. And he pitched tolerable. It wasn't like a great outing, but it was like, all right, that's serviceable.
Gotta love it. It is what it is. And that's the thing. I think next year, and we'll have to obviously see where it is with all these pitchers. But I think, as Justin said, there's just going to be a lot of guys that got to go out there and compete. And you said it too, where like if you want the job, you got to go out there and prove that you can have the job. And you're not going to go out there. And I mean, like Gomes, the dude that's been pitching in the 5th spot that has had a couple good and bad games. It's like that's the kind of thing where like his first start, he went out there and he pitched great. He earned another start. And now we could say what he's done the last whatever games, but I mean, you got to go out there and earn it and show that you can produce and be a guy to eat up innings and get to the 5th, 6th inning, because we've seen it a lot, especially with other teams too. I mean, the fact that the teams are having bullpen days now are crazy. Like, I just never thought we'd get to that where there's not even having starters. We're just unloading our bullpens. Where like back in the day, it was 6, 7 innings from a starter, and then you have a couple of bullpen guys. So, I mean, I don't know.
One starter I did want to highlight, though, Shane Smith in his last 7 starts is 3-0.
Justin, let's see if we can talk one episode without talking about Shane Smith.
He's our best pitcher. How can you not talk about him? He literally pitched today.
You're right. I'm just fucking with you. I know. You're right. You're right, though.
Very encouraging bounce back, Deej, because I kind of thought he was toast, at least for the year. I never obviously wrote him off as like a future piece of the rotation, but just with his history and how he hadn't pitched, you know, this much in a year and really hadn't pitched at all the last few years, and then started hitting that skid right around the All-Star break, and they gave him the Phantom IL stint, and I was kind of, okay, you know, maybe this is it. But no, so that's very encouraging. Probably, you know, we might even buried the lead waiting this long into the show to get to it and talking about the offense and such, because obviously, like you said, the pitching has kind of flipped to become kind of the, I don't know where the hell this is going, but he's been that bright spot, and that's good. And he's a resilient guy, obviously, and that's reflected in how he carries himself on the mound and how he's kind of gotten it back on track the last part of the season here and finishing the season strong.
And not to put a lot of highlight on this, but I mean, when he and Teal collided, he is like a fucking tank.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're going to pull him out of just precautionary measure. And he was like, no, I'm staying in.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was ugly.
It was ugly, but you also see like that he is like, it's like I was pissed when we traded Crochet because you could tell he had that dog in him, which has actually started to come out more in Boston. But like Shane's the same way, where like I feel like there's always competitiveness and fight in him, and there's not this like mopey bullshit. It's like even if he gives up like a 2-run home run, the next at bat, it's like fine, fuck that. Like I'm gonna get this next guy out.
Yeah.
So that I mean, over those 7 games, a 2.70 ERA is,
yeah.
I mean, that's elite stuff. So,
well, and that's just well, we haven't had that a lot of pitching as of late, and that I mean, and when everything is clicking as it has been as of late, it's nice to actually see it, especially like with the defense and them. Just as we've talked about a lot this year, just being able to turn double plays and make the plays that are and they've had some of them, but just makes it so much digestible to watch the game, and you're not giving these teams extra outs, and we see what happens. Oh yeah.
So the only other thing we got left is they have 3 at Cleveland this weekend, and then they are at home against Baltimore for 3 to start the week next week. Predictions. I'm not even going to look at this. I feel like every time you look to see who like the starters are the next couple of days, they're obviously managing people's innings and so on and so forth. So there's not really a point of looking. Even the other teams, like the whole Rays series, you're like, who the hell is pitching for them? So,
well, I mean, like I said, I mean that's where it's every team's now. Almost all these pitchers are getting so tired and fatigued, and I think that was the thing with the guy today or yesterday for the Rays is he was so fatigued he couldn't even go out there and pitch. Where it just like now at this point, these teams are just trying to get through, and that's why September baseball is so important because anything can happen, and with all the teams going this and that.
What's your predictions?
I'm gonna
for
say
those
they
2
win
series?
one against the Guardians, just because I still have stress against the Guardians. But I mean, the way they're playing, they can win 2 out of 3, and then they play the Tigers next, right?
Baltimore.
Okay, Baltimore. I'll say 2 out of 3 against Baltimore since the way the Orioles have been playing. And they have been playing better, but I mean, I don't know. Organization going wrong way.
I'll go with the same prediction as Tino. I was going to say that too. I have to see it one go down, so to speak. I got to see them take the series from Cleveland, though I know the division. It would be nice because that would be division series wins against all 4 division teams in the last, however, few weeks, dating back to when they finally got over the hump against the Royals, the sweep in Minnesota, beating the Tigers last weekend in the series. So that would be a lot of fun and very encouraging and shit they need to do moving forward. I'll say they win 1 out of 3 against them, and then they take the series from Baltimore back home.
That's right.
Okay. I am going to go a little wild again. So we'll go
what do we got?
3
6
in
in a row?
Cleveland, and then they're going to sweep Baltimore and
Wait,
need one
Cleveland?
more win to
fucking week. Magic number 63 is 1 win away.
Yeah, that's my prediction. So
it's unlikely, if you say it, we'll come back to it next week, each.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of Baltimore. Shit, I mean,
fuck Baltimore.
They're. I mean, well, that's if you really look ahead, it'll get interesting because if we continue to play well and Washington just takes a shit, we could hop them, which would be if you could do that and not lose 100 games, I would be like, all right, Chris Getz. I mean, I'm starting to buy in a bit.
Win, but a win.
Oh yeah, wins away. I guess, guys, we'll have to find out if Deech's predictions are right. Is that all we got there for the week?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Got anything else you want to talk about? No.
Nope. Go out and watch this football game.
He said, "You got anybody playing? How'd you do week 1, Justin?"
1-0. Got have Josh
Oh.
Jacobs and Terry McLaurin tonight, so I'm quite
Okay.
excited for him actually.
I lost because I didn't start Justin Fields. I would love how that goes, right? Well, as Justin said, football is on, guys. Commanders, Packers, go watch some football. Appreciate y'all as always joining us for another episode of Southside Boys. We got 3 episodes left of the season. As I said earlier, I did not say it earlier, I'm sorry. Over on and from Minor League Minute over on YouTube, Corey will be joining us next week. They just recently got to 500 subscribers and have been accepted a part of the YouTube partnership, so shout out to them. But they will be here and they'll be talking about all of the White Sox players that have become up and everything else this year, and I cannot wait for it. So that will be next week. But guys, go follow all the social medias, hit that like button, subscribe, turn that notification button on, and we'll see you next Thursday for another Southside Boys episode.